At Numerian Capital, we bring you the latest stock news each day. Please like and subscribe so we can bring these articles to you each day. Thank you.
Today, December 30th, 2022, cost to borrow Mullen stock doubles again. It looks like a red to green day as Mullen stock traders consider the short squeeze potential. Mullen Automotive stock is trending as its cost to borrow has increased dramatically. This is often considered an indicator of a short squeeze in the making. Mullen stock started in the red this morning before surging into positive territory. Are Reddit traders targeting California-based electric vehicle manufacturer Mullen Automotive, NASDAQ MULN, for an imminent short squeeze? Certain borrowing cost data indicates the bears might have to hibernate in the near future. This could help to explain the notable price action in Mullen stock today. There's no denying it, Mullen Automotive's long-term investors have had a rough year. They've witnessed shares fall from nearly $6 to around 30 cents. Sometimes, however, Reddit users have been known to set their sights on underdog stocks like Mullen. Is it possible that the short squeeze crowd is circling their wagons around Mullen right now? It's hard to know for certain, but there's publicly available data that traders can look at. In particular, Fintel published the short sale borrow fee rate for Mullen shares this morning. Astoundingly, that rate jumped from 9.65% on December 27 to 156.76% yesterday, and then to 313.76% today. As Eddie Pan explains, borrow fees refer to a type of secured loan which bearish traders pay to initiate their shorting activities. Just to provide some perspective, FinanceTrain.com states that the typical fee for a stock loan is 0.30% per annum. What's happening with Mullen stock? In other words, the borrowing fee rate for Mullen stock is skyrocketing, and is far above what's considered normal. This leads to an important question: does a borrowing fee spike in a heavily shorted stock necessarily lead to a huge short squeeze? There are no guarantees here, but long-leaning Mullen Automotive investors seem to be in the driver's seat now. That's because shares rallied 10% this morning, even after starting the trading session down 3%. That's quite a rebound, so it's possible that a short squeeze is underway. After all, a heavily shorted stock is like a coiled spring, ready to bounce at any given moment. Don't get too excited, though, as Fintel also reports that Mullen stock's short interest as a percentage of float is 10.83%. This is moderately elevated, but not off the charts. Still, it's not every day that traders witness a short sale borrow fee rate rocket higher like this. Perhaps, Reddit's market influencers might be preparing a big move and Mullen Automotive's loyal shareholders could enjoy supersized gains in early 2023. Why is Mullen stock up 5% today? Short borrow fees rise again. Shares of struggling EV outfit Mullen Automotive again popped higher on Friday. Short borrow fee rates conspicuously increased from an already elevated height. Mullen stock requires a holistic examination prior to participation. Defying bearish expectations once again, electric vehicle manufacturer Mullen Automotive managed to generate a strong start to its final stock trading session of 2022. As was the case yesterday, the focus among market participants centered on the company's short borrow fee rates. With Mullen stock becoming more expensive to short, many retail traders see this dynamic as a potential catalyst for a short squeeze. According to the latest data from Fintel, the short borrow fee jumped to 313.76%. At the start of the prior December 29 session, this stat pinged at 156.76%. Eventually skyrocketing to a stunning 281.79%. To quickly recap, borrow fees refer to a type of secured loan which bearish traders pay to initiate their shorting activities. What attracted contrarian investors to Mullen stock is the typical range of borrow fees, both for non-shorted securities as well as ones that bearish traders target. Per FinanceTrain, the typical fee for a stock loan is 0.30% per annum. However, this expense can jump to 20% to 30% per annum for heavily shorted stocks. Obviously, Mullen features a cost to borrow more than 10 times standard expectations. To be sure, Mullen stock responded very well to contrarians pushing for a short squeeze. At the time of writing, Mullen gained nearly 6% after starting the morning's trading session up 5%. In the trailing 5 sessions, the EV maker returned stakeholders more than 27% of equity value. Still, the enterprise remains deeply embattled for the year. Mullen stock is more than just a single stat. Compounding the ambiguous nature of Mullen stock, near-term excitement versus longer-term risks, is that professional traders typically use short borrow fees as a potentially viable contrarian indicator. Essentially, it's a cat and mouse game. As pressures build for short traders, the idea centers on one of them blinking. If so, the subsequent covering action could cascade to possibly exceptional upside for the target security. As the street mentioned, S3 Partners analyst Ihor Dusanievsky utilizes costs to borrow to extract valuable information. An increase in stock borrow rates may squeeze, some short sellers into closing their positions, getting out to realize their remaining mark-to-market profits and exiting before other buy-to-covers drive the stock price up, Dusanievsky stated. Certainly, rising fees contributed to short-term spikes in other bearishly targeted stocks. However, it's important to realize that no one stat guarantees a particular outcome. Otherwise, one would only need to wait for certain metrics to flash. In other words, everyone would do it. At the most basic level, rising borrowing fees for Mullen stock indicate increased demand to short the underlying company. Stated differently, a possible bullish outcome represents downwind speculation about human emotional reactions to the primary data point. Whether short traders take the bait as a secondary action is not always predictable or reliable. Finally, it's worth noting that when Mullen stock bounced dramatically higher around mid-December following Mullen's disclosure of a $200 million order, shares eventually cratered prior to the recent short squeeze speculation. Thus, the bears themselves carry confidence that Mullen will move in the direction they ultimately seek.
Thanks for watching Numerian Capital News. Please come back tomorrow for another stock news update. Thank you.